On January 10, 49 BC, Gaius Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon River at the head of the 13th Legion. Before doing so, he famously declared, "The die is cast." Why did Caesar cross the Rubicon, and what were the consequences? 3, 2, 1. Let's go. This military leader was consul 3 times, celebrated 3 triumphs, and in 60 BC, he was part of a secret triumvirate alongside Julius Caesar. It was through this triumvirate that Caesar became consul and later proconsul of Gaul. However, by the time Caesar returned from Gaul, the Senate's demand for him to disband his legions came directly from him. Who was he? Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus, who served as consul of the Roman Republic 3 times. He was the 3rd member of the triumvirate alongside Caesar and Pompey. However, by the time Caesar returned from Gaul, this victor over Spartacus was already dead and unable to intervene. Unlike Caesar, who triumphed in Gaul, he suffered defeat in the Parthian War and, according to legend, was executed by having molten gold poured down his throat. Who was he? Marcus Licinius Crassus, who served twice as consul of the Roman Republic and as proconsul of Syria. It was this leader of the rebel Gallic tribes whom Julius Caesar defeated. Following tradition, he was brought to Rome for Caesar's triumph, which he awaited for several years. After the triumph, he was executed. Who was he? Vercingetorix, king of the Arverni. It was this general who saved Caesar from defeat at Dyrrhachium by bringing fresh cohorts from Rome. After Caesar's assassination, he joined the triumvirate that crushed the conspirators and was rewarded with the eastern provinces of Rome. In Roman-dependent Egypt, he began a famous romance with the queen. Who was he? Mark Antony, who served twice as consul of the Roman Republic. This renowned orator, like Pompey Magnus, was an ally of Julius Caesar during the first triumvirate but had become his adversary by the time Caesar crossed the Rubicon. After Caesar defeated Pompey at the Battle of Pharsalus, he surrendered and was not pursued by Caesar. He did not participate in the conspiracy against Caesar. Who was he? Marcus Tullius Cicero, who served as consul of the Roman Republic and as proconsul of Cilicia and Greece. The nephew of this Roman Republic dictator commanded Caesar's right flank at the Battle of Pharsalus. Ironically, Pompey Magnus, who was defeated at Pharsalus, had helped this dictator win a civil war 30 years earlier. The title of dictator was revived by him after more than a century since its last use during the Second Punic War. Who was he? Lucius Cornelius Sulla, dictator of the Roman Republic. Pompey Magnus fled to Egypt under the protection of this pharaoh after his defeat at the Battle of Pharsalus. Instead of support, he met his death there. Caesar did not forgive this Egyptian pharaoh for the murder of his rival. Who was he? Ptolemy the 13th Theos Philopator, pharaoh of the Ptolemaic kingdom. This senator is often called Caesar's closest friend, but during the civil war, he sided with Pompey, despite Pompey having killed his father. After the defeat at Pharsalus, he personally sought Caesar's mercy and was granted it. Moreover, he was appointed governor of Cisalpine Gaul. However, he is remembered in history as the main assassin of Julius Caesar. Who was he? Marcus Junius Brutus, senator of the Roman Republic. This leader of the aristocracy in the Senate was more than just a supporter of Pompey. He pushed the Senate to forbid Caesar from crossing the Rubicon even more vigorously than Pompey did. He was not present at the Battle of Pharsalus. Unlike Brutus and Cicero, he never attempted to negotiate with Caesar. He had distinguished himself in his youth during the suppression of Spartacus's uprising, proving he was no coward. However, understanding that he was on the losing side, he withdrew to the island of Corfu and later to Utica in Africa. Realizing the city would not withstand Caesar, he spent the night reading Plato's dialogue on the death of Socrates and took his own life with a sword the next morning. Who was he? Marcus Porcius Cato Iudicensis, plebeian tribune and praetor of the Roman Republic. This sister and wife of Ptolemy XIII found herself at the center of Caesar's civil war when he arrived in Egypt, sparking a civil war within Egypt itself. Caesar sided with Ptolemy XIII's sister, which led to Ptolemy drowning in the Nile while fleeing the palace. She claimed to have borne Caesar a son, Caesarion. However, Caesar never acknowledged paternity. Who is she? Cleopatra VII Thea Philopator, Queen of the Ptolemaic Kingdom. As a result of his victory in the Civil War, Caesar became the dictator of Rome, following in the footsteps of Sulla. However, Caesar never declared himself emperor of Rome. After his assassination and the defeat of his killers, the power in Rome was seized by a triumvirate, effectively ending the Roman Republic. Comment below on who else should have been included in this video. Like if you recognized everyone.